Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for June the 17th of 2020. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry, hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week. It is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. And today we got a very big piece of news about Horizon Forbidden West because it is aiming for a 2021 launch on the PlayStation 5. Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn, won't arrive on the PlayStation 5 until 2021, game director Matthijs de Jong confirmed in a new video that offered further information on the upcoming title. According to De Jong, Guerrilla Games is aiming to release the game next year in 2021, meaning that it won't be out when the PlayStation 5 launches this holiday season. While there is no new footage of Horizon Forbidden West in the video, De Jong did offer more details about what to expect when the sequel arrives next year. According to De Jong, the world of Forbidden West is even more detailed than the previous game and also offers a larger map. And thanks to the PlayStation 5's super-fast SSD, De Jong promises there will be virtually no loading screens, with travel, booting up the game, and restarting levels set to take place incredibly quickly. De Jong also explained, with the slightly ridiculous-sounding title, it's referring to a mysterious new frontier that spans the western half of the post-apocalyptic US. Horizon Forbidden West will also feature dozens of new machines to scan, study, and fight, along with new tribes of humans to encounter, some of whom have also figured out how to tame machines as players were able to do in the previous game. So, I am a huge proponent of any game taking as long as it needs to make it a game worthy of play. So if Horizon Forbidden West needed until 2023 to be the sequel that Horizon Zero Dawn deserved, and that fans deserved, by all means, let's go ahead and make that happen. Whatever time frame is required is the time frame a game should be given within reason. However, this is leaving a lot of big gaps in the holiday lineup for the PlayStation 5. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't have to have your entire lineup ready at launch, but right now, at launch, or at least in the holiday 2020 timeframe, you do have Spider-Man Miles Morales and presumably Gran Turismo 7. Those are pretty much the only two big AAA first-party exclusives that are going to be coming to the PlayStation 5 as of right now, to my knowledge. Now, I did some digging, and a lot of the games that were shown off during last week's event aren't actually exclusives. Many of them are, one being Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but it's not going to be coming until 2021, presumably because it is also an Insomniac game, and we are getting the Spider-Man game this year. So with all of this being said, with only two big first-party exclusives, PlayStation has a bit of a lackluster lineup as of right now. That could change, release dates could shift, but on top of that, think about the games that have come out this year and that are coming out, specifically in regards to The Last of Us Part 2 and, additionally, Ghost of Tsushima. Those are going to be very big games even into this holiday season, and both of them are inevitably going to have pretty solid backwards compatibility support, meaning they are going to potentially be games that players do want to play and that they pick up this holiday season. On top of that, it has also been reported that there is going to be a bit of a scarcity of the PlayStation 5 because of intense production, restrictions based around the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you do have a shortage of consoles being produced for this holiday season, it might not necessarily be a bad thing to encourage consumers to wait until 2021 to pick up the next big piece of hardware whenever the production line is more in line with the fans' expectations and general excitement around the world. There's a lot to break down here. But if you were hoping for a Horizon sequel at launch, it looks like that is going to be nothing but a pipe dream right now because it is officially aiming for a 2021 launch on the PlayStation 5. However, a new Pokémon Snap game is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is a very big deal even for somebody who does not normally play Pokemon. At long last, Nintendo is giving Pokemon fans the sequel they've been asking for, and many demanding, for 2 decades, Pokémon Snap 2. Well, it's actually called New Pokémon Snap. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a working title, though. A surprise trailer broadcast during a special Pokemon Presents stream confirmed that finally, the Pokemon Company is returning to the beloved photography formula of the N64 Classic. The brief teaser showed a new island brimming with Pokemon from multiple generations, including the new Sword and Shield games. There is no word on a release date or whether the on-rails gameplay has evolved at all. So, man, this name, Sunakusa Ishihara. Sure. President and CEO of the Pokémon Company confirmed that the game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is a very long time coming, so if you think about the nature of Pokémon Snap, or for those that might not necessarily be familiar with Pokémon Snap, it's basically a game where you take pictures of Pokémon on an island. It's very engaging, and it's something that a lot of people look back on with a strong sense of nostalgia. Now, taking into consideration the Nintendo Switch's capabilities of being able to have motion tracking and any kind of IR sensing, there's a lot that can be done with the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, so this makes perfect sense to bring a Pokemon Snap game to the Switch. I really hope it's not called New Pokemon Snap. If anything, just make it a reboot and call it Pokemon Snap. That makes perfect sense. But for the Pokemon fans out there who want to get back to the world of Pokemon Snap, it is officially confirmed, and this was not one that I had expected in the slightest, but it is a very good move from the Pokemon Company and for Nintendo. Now let's talk about this new official shot of the PlayStation 5 console on its side. Can the PlayStation 5 be placed on its side? Yes, it can. Whether it actually looks any good or not placed on horizontal orientation is up for debate, but at least we now have this official shot from Sony to help form some solid thoughts. The image features both the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition and one which includes a disc drive accompanied by a DualSense controller. It also begs the question, is the PlayStation 5 the first console in history which will require a stand to be placed on its side? We can't think of any other system which needed one straight out of the box thanks to those unusual angles at the top of the console. But anyways, what do you make of the PlayStation 5 when placed horizontally? So in regards to what they're actually talking about here, indeed, there is a stand here on the bottom of the PlayStation 5 itself, and you can see one right here as well. This is not the best move, in my opinion. Of course, if you are aiming for that futuristic kind of aesthetic, this is pretty much your only option. But if you are looking at the overall sensibility of this design, you are essentially going to be forced to stand this thing up. And the question is, will they include this stand out of the box? I can't imagine that they will, knowing Sony. Specifically in regards to the price tag for the PlayStation 5, many are predicting this could be as much as $600 or $650 for the disc-based version. And if that is the case, then they are trying to skim as much money off the top as they can to get people in the door and get people buying this piece of hardware, so the stand itself more than likely won't be included. The question is, at what cost is this design? Does it look nice and futuristic? Yes, but at the same time, this is literally the opposite of what anybody would call a versatile design that is capable of achieving any kind of orientation that the player might need. And if you think about the standard home theater setup, there is no way this, number one, is going to fit into most home theater setups because of the sheer size of this lad. It's a very large console, nearly 16 inches in height, if the measurements are to be believed that have come about online. But on top of that, if you look at the overall orientation and the verticality of the standard version of the PlayStation 5, or the standard model that we saw revealed, it's going to be very tall to where it might not even fit vertically under a television. You have to have a specific place for the PlayStation 5. It's a very strange way to launch a console and a very strange look at that. But I'm still sort of on board with it. The more that I look at the PlayStation 5, the more that it grows on me. But at the same time, I can't help but wish that they had taken the width of this portion right here, of the far left of the digital edition, and made that all the way across. Now, I understand this is mainly for the cooling efforts of the internal schematics or the internal, I suppose, components of the PlayStation 5, and that does definitely need to be the priority because the PlayStation 4 Pro runs like a jet engine. And so if you can make it quieter at a sacrifice for compactness, I suppose that seems like a pretty fair trade-off, but it better be quiet because this is going to be absolutely massive. And the question is, will it be worth it this holiday season for somebody to upgrade from a more versatile and compact PlayStation 4 and pick up a PlayStation 5? You know what might trip the breaker? You know what might get those players on board? Bugsnax. Because the developer has revealed the inspirations for the game, including Viva Pinata and Dark Cloud. The PlayStation 5 show revealed a bunch of new titles to us, they say a DualShockers, and the flat-out strangest among them was Bugsnax from Young Horses, although you may know them as the minds behind Octodad Dadliest Catch. What you may not know about Bugsnax, other than, well, a lot since all we've seen of the game was a vague gameplay trailer, is that the game was apparently inspired in part by Pokémon Snap and a few other surprising titles. A tweet from Kevin Geisler, a programmer and producer at Young Horses, showed some of his personal inspirations that have gone into the development of Bugsnax. Besides the previously mentioned Pokémon Snap, which is already bewildering in terms of what it could mean for Bugsnax, Geisler mentioned 3 other titles: the extremely odd Viva Pinata, the cult classic Ape Escape, and a personal favorite, Dark Cloud. While I'm happy seeing someone other than me mention Dark Cloud, the author says, I still can't help but wonder what influence these radically different games could have on Bugsnax. Of course, there is much guessing to be done here, but Bugsnax, I want to point out, is one of the indie darlings of the PlayStation 5 conference, and I am excited to see how it goes. Now, I retweeted this morning because the inspirations for Bugsnax have gotten me excited about Bugsnax. This is not normally a game that I would be on board with on day one, but Viva Pinata? Okay. Ape Escape? Okay. Pokémon Snap? Very interesting. It seems this is going to be more so an Ape Escape than anything else from the gameplay that I'm seeing. That's what I'm reading into this entire situation and taking out. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts on Bugsnax. Of course, you can check out the official trailer if you would like, but very interesting stuff coming from the team at PlayStation and the indie teams behind the scenes that are making all of these little experiments possible. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed today's show, drop me a like down below and let me know what you think about the entire lineup for the PlayStation 5 so far. What games do you think are going to be coming out this holiday season? And what games do you expect to come out later in 2021 or even beyond? Would love to hear what you have to say. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of the night. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.